What if I told you that another Great Depression might be closer than you think? And most people aren't even close to being ready. Experts are sounding the alarm, but no one's talking about what you should really be stocking up on right now. Hey everyone, I've been diving deep into food trends, inflation data, and historical economic patterns for years. And what I found recently made me stop in my tracks. From empty grocery shelves to rising prices on basic goods, signs are pointing to something bigger than just a temporary crisis. In this video, I'm showing you 15 essential items you need to start storing now, including pantry staples, overlooked survival hacks, and yes, some surprising picks most people forget. If you've noticed shortages, price hikes, or just want to sleep better at night, keep watching. This could change everything about how you prepare. 1. Canned beans. Canned beans are one of those quiet heroes of the pantry. You might not think about them often, but when you need something quick, cheap, and filling, they're right there. They come in all kinds too. Black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans, each with its own flavor and texture, but all doing the same job, keeping you full and giving you energy. What makes canned beans so great? Well, for starters, they're super affordable. You can grab a few cans for just a few bucks, and that's a meal or two right there. No need to spend a fortune on fancy protein. Just open a can, rinse it off, and you're good to go. You don't even have to cook them if you don't want to. They also last a really long time. Most cans have a shelf life of 3 to 5 years, sometimes even longer if stored properly. That means once you buy them, you don't have to worry about them going bad anytime soon. Just tuck them away in your pantry and forget about them until you need them, of course. And let's talk about how easy they are to use. Canned beans go with almost anything. Toss them into rice for a simple bowl, mix them into salads for extra protein, or heat them up with some spices for a fast side dish. If you're feeling fancy, throw them into chili, soups, or stews. They blend in and add body without stealing the spotlight, unless you want them to. So yeah, canned beans might seem basic, but that's exactly why they're so important. They're reliable, versatile, and built to last. Whether you're prepping for the long term or just trying to stretch your grocery budget, these little legumes are definitely worth having around. 2. Rice. Rice is one of those foods that never goes out of style, and for good reason. It's cheap, it's filling, and it can last for years if you store it right. You don't have to be a chef to cook with rice, and you don't need fancy tools either. Just some heat and a pot, and you've got yourself a meal base that works with almost anything. White rice is the best bet when it comes to long-term storage. If sealed properly in an airtight container and kept in a cool, dry place, it can last up to 30 years. That's insane. Brown rice may be a bit healthier, but it doesn't hold up nearly as well because of the oils in the bran layer. Those oils go bad over time, so stick with white if you're stocking up. One of the best things about rice is how easy it is to stretch a meal. A little bit of protein or veggies mixed with rice can turn into a full plate of food. This makes it perfect for times when money is tight or supplies are low. You're not just eating, you're making what you have go further. And let's face it, most people actually like rice. It's comforting, familiar, and pairs well with everything from beans to canned meat to a simple egg on top. Whether you make it plain or dress it up with spices and sauces, it's always going to feel like a real meal. So whether you're cooking for one or feeding a family, rice is a quiet powerhouse. It's not flashy, but it gets the job done day after day, year after year. And in uncertain times, that kind of reliability is priceless. 3. Pasta. Pasta is one of those foods that feels like comfort in a box. It's cheap, it's easy to store, and it doesn't go bad for a long time. You can grab a big bag for just a few bucks, and suddenly you've got meals for weeks, maybe even months, depending on how much you eat. Dry pasta has a shelf life of up to 2 years if stored properly. That means you don't have to worry about rushing to use it before it goes bad. Just keep it sealed, keep it dry, and it'll be there when you need it most. One of the best things about pasta is how flexible it is. Want something quick and plain? Boil some noodles and toss with butter or olive oil. Want something more filling? Mix in some canned beans or tuna. Want flavor? Add sauce, spices, whatever you've got lying around. It's not picky. And here's the thing. Pasta doesn't ask for much. No fridge, no freezer, no special tools, just a pot, some water, and a little heat. That makes it perfect for times when power might be spotty or money is tight. A single box can turn into dinner for one or stretch to feed a whole family. It's also super easy to buy in bulk. Big boxes or bags of pasta cost less per serving than small ones. Once you bring it home, split it into smaller containers or Ziploc bags so it's easier to handle without exposing the whole stash every time you cook. So whether you're prepping for the future or just looking to save money on groceries now, pasta should definitely be on your list. It's dependable, affordable, and endlessly useful. Exactly what you want when things get shaky. 4. Oatmeal. Oatmeal might not be the flashiest item on your shelf, but when you're preparing for tough times, it's one of the smartest things to have around. It's cheap, it's filling, and it's packed with nutrients. Plus, it's super easy to store and can last for months, sometimes even years, if kept sealed and dry. There are a few different kinds of oatmeal out there. Instant, rolled, steel cut. They all do basically the same job, but some are more convenient than others. Instant is quick and easy, perfect for days when you don't feel like waiting. Rolled oats take a little longer to cook, but they're heartier and give you that classic oatmeal texture. Steel cut is the toughest and takes the longest to cook, but a lot of people love the chewy bite. The best part? You don't need much to make oatmeal work. Just hot water or milk and maybe a pinch of salt. If you've got a little sugar, honey, or dried fruit, that's a nice bonus. But even plain, oatmeal hits the spot when you're hungry and short on options. It's also incredibly versatile. Eat it warm in the morning, mix it into baked goods, or even use it as a thickener in soups and stews. That makes it more than just breakfast. It's a pantry staple with multiple uses. Buying in bulk is definitely the way to go. Big containers or bags cost less per serving than small boxes. Once you bring it home, split it into smaller airtight containers so you can grab what you need without messing with the whole bag every time. And let's talk about storage for a second. Oatmeal doesn't need refrigeration, which is a big plus. Just keep it away from moisture and pests, and it'll stay good for a long time. Some people even vacuum seal their oats for extra protection, especially if they're stocking up for the long term. So whether you're prepping for a possible downturn or just trying to stretch your monthly grocery budget, oatmeal deserves a spot in your plan. It's not just for breakfast anymore, it's survival food with staying power. 5. Powdered milk. When it comes to stocking up on essentials, powdered milk often gets overlooked. But if you're preparing for uncertain times, this lightweight, shelf-stable item should definitely be on your list. It's not glamorous, sure, but when fresh milk isn't an option, powdered milk becomes a lifesaver. Unlike regular milk, powdered milk doesn't need refrigeration. That means you can store it for months, even years, without worrying about it going bad. As long as it stays dry and sealed, it'll be ready when you need it. This makes it perfect for emergency kits, long-term storage, or just keeping around for days when grocery runs aren't possible. Now, let's talk about what powdered milk can actually do. You can mix it with water and drink it like regular milk. That's the most obvious use, but beyond that, you can also cook with it. Baking, great for adding moisture and protein. Soups and sauces, a splash of powdered milk can make them creamier without needing fresh dairy. It's also packed with nutrients, calcium, vitamin D, protein, all the good stuff you'd expect from milk. And while it might not taste exactly like the cold glass you're used to, it gets the job done, especially when options are limited. So whether you're prepping for emergencies, living off-grid, or just trying to save money, powdered milk deserves a spot in your pantry. It's reliable, nutritious, and built to last. 6. Canned vegetables. When you're thinking about what to stock up on before hard times hit, vegetables might not be the first thing that comes to mind. After all, they don't last long when fresh. But here's the good news. Canned vegetables do the job just fine, and they last forever if stored right. Canned veggies are one of those quiet heroes of survival food. They're packed with vitamins, minerals, and fiber, things your body needs to stay strong, especially when fresh options are limited or expensive. And unlike fresh produce, you don't have to worry about them rotting in your fridge or going bad after a few days. There's a wide variety to choose from, too. Green beans, carrots, pescorn tomatoes, spinach, mushrooms, you name it. Each has its own flavor and use, so you can pick the ones you actually like eating. No need to force yourself to eat something just because it's good for you. The best part, you don't even have to cook them. Just open the can, rinse if needed, and eat them straight out of the tin. That makes them perfect for days when you don't have power, gas, or time to make a full meal. It's food that's ready when you are. And if you do feel like cooking, canned vegetables are super easy to mix into other dishes. Toss them into rice, pasta, soups, or stews. Add them to scrambled eggs or casseroles. The more you have on hand, the easier it is to throw together something balanced and filling without needing to go to the store. So whether you're preparing for an emergency or just looking to cut grocery costs now, don't skip the canned vegetables. They may not look fancy, but they deliver real value when it matters most. 7. Canned meat, tuna, chicken, Spam. When you're stocking up on food for uncertain times, protein is a must. And when fresh meat isn't an option, canned meat steps in to save the day. It's ready to eat, easy to store, and packed with the nutrients your body needs when life gets tough. Canned meat comes in several forms, each with its own perks. Tuna is light, flaky, and perfect for sandwiches or mixing into salads. Chicken is soft and versatile, great for casseroles, soups, or even just eating straight from the can. And then there's Spam. Love it or hate it, this stuff has been feeding people through hard times for decades. It's rich, salty, and holds up well in almost any dish. The biggest advantage of canned meat? You don't need a fridge, freezer, or even a stove to enjoy it. Just open the can and eat. That makes it perfect for days when power is out, gas is low, or you just don't feel like cooking. It's grab-and-go nutrition that doesn't spoil easily. Storage is another big win. Most canned meats last for years if kept sealed and dry. No need to rotate them often like you would with other pantry items. Just tuck them away in your cupboard and forget about them until you need them, of course. And let's talk about cost. Compared to fresh or frozen meat, canned options are usually much more affordable, especially when bought in bulk. For budget-conscious shoppers or families trying to stretch meals, this is huge. A few cans can turn a plain bowl of rice or pasta into a full, satisfying meal. So next time you're at the store, don't skip the canned meat aisle. Grab a few extra cans. You'll be glad you did when things get unpredictable. 8. Sugar and salt. When most people think about prepping for tough times, they picture cans of beans, rice, or maybe even a few snacks. But there are a couple of items that often get overlooked: sugar and salt. They might seem like just flavor boosters, but in reality, they're way more than that. These two pantry staples are essential for both survival and sanity when things go south. Let's start with salt. It's not just for making food taste better, it's a critical part of your body's balance. Salt helps regulate fluids, muscle function, and even brain activity. Without enough of it, you can run into serious health issues. That's why having a good supply on hand isn't just smart, it's necessary. Salt also has uses beyond the kitchen. In emergency situations, it can be used to preserve other foods, clean wounds, or even trade if things get really bad. And unlike fresh produce or dairy, salt doesn't spoil. As long as it stays dry, it'll last forever. That makes it one of the best long-term investments for your pantry. Now, what kind of salt should you stock up on? Table salt is the most common and affordable, but some people prefer sea salt or kosher salt for cooking. Either works fine. Just make sure you have enough stored away. A few pounds should keep you going for months, even years. So don't underestimate these two simple ingredients. In uncertain times, sugar and salt aren't just extras, they're essentials. One keeps your body running, the other keeps your meals from tasting like cardboard. And together, they make survival feel just a little more normal. 9. Spices and seasonings. When you're stocking up for uncertain times, most people think about filling their shelves with cans, bags, and jars of food, but there's something many overlook: spices. Yes, spices. They might not fill your stomach like rice or beans, but they will keep you from going crazy from boredom at the dinner table. Think about it. If every meal tastes the same, even the best survival food can start to feel like punishment. That's where a few basic spices come in. A pinch of garlic powder, a dash of paprika, or a sprinkle of cumin can turn a plain bowl of beans and rice into something that actually feels like a meal worth eating. Spices don't just add flavor, they also have real shelf life staying power. Most dried herbs and ground seasonings last for years without losing their punch. Unlike fresh ingredients, they don't need refrigeration, take up almost no space, and cost very little compared to what they bring to the table. And let's not forget the health benefits. Many common spices like turmeric, ginger, and cinnamon have natural anti-inflammatory or immune-boosting properties. In tough times, when medical care might be hard to get, having these on hand could make a real difference. So next time you're at the store, don't skip the spice aisle. Grab a few extra bottles. Your future self will thank you when dinner doesn't taste like cardboard. 10. Cooking oil. When you're prepping your pantry for uncertain times, cooking oil might not be the first thing that jumps to mind. But if you want to make the most of what you have, this is one item you don't want to skip. It's not just for frying, it's a key player in stretching meals, boosting flavor, and even adding much needed calories when food is scarce. Cooking oil gives you options. You can saute vegetables, brown canned meat, or cook rice so it doesn't stick together. Without oil, some meals are harder to pull off, or at least they won't taste very good. And let's face it, when you're eating from cans and bags, making food taste good matters more than ever. There are a few different oils to choose from, but not all are created equal when it comes to storage. Olive oil is great for flavor, but it doesn't last as long. Canola oil is common and affordable, but again, not the longest shelf life. The best bet for long-term prep is vegetable oil or coconut oil. Both can last for years if stored properly. Coconut oil in particular has a shelf life of up to 2 years or more. It solidifies in cooler temperatures, but that doesn't affect its quality. In fact, some people prefer it because it's stable at room temperature and resists spoilage better than many other oils. Oil also adds calories, which is a good thing when you're trying to stay strong and energized. A little goes a long way in making meals more filling. Just a few tablespoons mixed into rice or pasta can turn a basic dish into something satisfying enough to keep you going through tough days. So don't overlook this liquid gold when you're building your emergency stockpile. Cooking oil isn't flashy, but it does heavy lifting in the kitchen. Whether you're browning, frying, roasting, or just trying to make bland food taste better, having a solid supply on hand makes a big difference. 11. Bullion cubes. Broth base. If you've ever made a meal that felt just bland, then you already know how important flavor is, especially when most of your food comes from cans or bags. That's where bouillon cubes and broth base come in. They might not look like much, but these little blocks of flavor are powerhouse items that can turn even the simplest ingredients into something worth eating. Bouillon cubes are basically concentrated broth pressed into small squares. Broth base comes in jars or tubs as a paste or powder. Both do the same job, adding depth, saltiness, and richness to meals without needing fresh stock or complicated prep. And when you're living off pantry staples, that kind of flavor boost makes all the difference. They're also incredibly easy to store. Unlike fresh broth or soup, bouillon doesn't need refrigeration. It lasts for years if kept sealed and dry. A single box of cubes or a jar of base takes up almost no space in your pantry, yet it can stretch your meals further than you'd think. So what can you actually do with them? A lot more than you might guess. Drop a cube into boiling water and boom, instant broth. Use that as a base for soups, stews, or cooking rice and pasta. Mix crushed cubes or scoops of base into canned beans or vegetables to give them a serious flavor lift. Add them to casseroles or sauces to make dishes taste richer and more complex. So don't underestimate these tiny flavor bombs. Bouillon cubes and broth base may seem small and simple, but they pack a big punch. In uncertain times, having a solid supply tucked away could be the difference between eating and actually enjoying what's on your plate. 12. Canned fruit. When you're preparing for tough times, most people focus on filling their pantry with items that keep them full, like rice, beans, and canned meats. But there's something just as important that often gets forgotten: fruit. And when fresh fruit isn't available or affordable, canned fruit is a smart and surprisingly useful option. Canned fruit might not get the same attention as other survival foods, but it brings more than just sweetness to the table. It's a source of vitamins, energy, and morale boosters when meals start feeling repetitive. Plus, it lasts for years if stored properly, making it a quiet powerhouse in any emergency stockpile. There are plenty of options to choose from: applesauce, peaches, pears, pineapple, mandarin oranges. Each has its own flavor and use. Some come packed in syrup, others in water or juice. If you're watching your sugar intake, go for those packed in water or juice instead of syrup. Either way, you're getting fruit that won't rot, mold, or disappear from your shelves after a week. So next time you're at the store, don't skip the canned fruit aisle. Grab a few extra cans. They might not be flashy, but they'll make life a little sweeter when things get tough. 13. Honey. When you think about long-term food storage, honey might not be the first thing that comes to mind. But if you're preparing for uncertain times, this golden liquid is one of the most underrated items you can have in your pantry. Honey isn't just sweet, it's powerful. Did you know that real, raw honey never spoils? Seriously. Archaeologists have found pots of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that were still perfectly edible. That's right, thousands of years later, and it was still good. That kind of shelf life is almost unheard of in the food world. So why should you care? Well, honey brings more than just flavor to the table. It's a natural energy booster loaded with antioxidants and even has antibacterial properties. In tough times, when medical supplies might be hard to come by, having something on hand that can help with wounds, sore throats, or digestion is huge. So, next time you see a jar of honey at the store, don't just walk past it. Grab one or two, because in uncertain times, having a little bit of nature's sweet gold tucked away could be one of the smartest things you do. 14. Dried mushrooms. When you're stocking up on essentials for uncertain times, dried mushrooms might not be the first thing that comes to mind. But if you're looking for a food that's lightweight, long-lasting, and packed with flavor, this is one item you don't want to skip. Dried mushrooms are like secret weapons in the pantry. They don't take up much space, they last for years if stored right, and they bring something special to meals. Umami. That deep, savory taste can turn even the simplest dish into something rich and satisfying. And when most of your food is coming from cans or bags, that kind of flavor boost makes all the difference. Unlike fresh mushrooms, which go bad in just a few days, dried ones are built to last. All you need is a cool, dry place to store them, and they'll stay good for years. You can buy them in small packages or bulk bags. Either way, they're easy to tuck away and forget about until you need them. So how do you use them? It's simple. Just soak them in hot water for about 20 minutes and they plump back up like fresh mushrooms. The soaking liquid, don't throw that out. It's loaded with flavor and makes an excellent base for soups, stews, or sauces. Use it instead of water or broth and watch your meals level up instantly. So next time you're at the store or shopping online, don't overlook dried mushrooms. They may seem like a small addition, but they punch way above their weight when it comes to taste, versatility, and staying power. 15. Water purification tablets, filters. When you're preparing for tough times, most people focus on food first, but there's something even more important than what you eat, and that's what you drink. Because without clean water, nothing else matters. That's why water purification tablets and filters are one of the most essential items you should be stocking up on right now. It's easy to take clean water for granted when you turn on the tap and it just flows out safe and ready to drink. But in a crisis, whether it's a natural disaster, infrastructure failure, or economic collapse, that luxury might not last. Bottled water is great, but it doesn't last forever and takes up a lot of space. That's where water purification comes in. Purification tablets are small, lightweight, and incredibly effective. Just drop one into questionable water, wait a few minutes, and boom, it's safe to drink. They kill bacteria, viruses, and parasites that can make you seriously sick. And unlike bottled water, these tablets last for years if stored properly. A single bottle can treat hundreds, sometimes thousands, of liters of water.